Hey beautiful souls, welcome. Today we are going to be learning all about Reiki, what it is, what it can do for us, how it can help our physical health, our spiritual health, our mental health, our emotional health. What is Reiki? Reiki is a Japanese healing modality that channels energy to help us heal in an energetic level. So when we're talking about Reiki, we're talking about working on the biofield. It sounds a little strange, but our body has an energetic system that we cannot really see, and Einstein said it best, everything is energy. Energy cannot be destroyed nor created, it just transforms. So with that being said, what is Reiki? The word Reiki can actually be broken down into two separate words, and that Rei means universal or God, and then Ki means life force or energy. So when we put these two words together, we literally have life force energy, universal energy, or God energy, if that feels comfortable to you, if you want to go there. So Reiki, while it works on this biofield that we have, that's called your aura and your chakra. And we won't go deep into the chakras in our biofield today, but it is important to understand Reiki and how the energetic system plays a role in our healing. Before we get all into that, a little history on Reiki. So Dr. Usui is a Buddhist monk, and he was known for, hey guys, rediscovering Reiki in the late 1800s. And it's said that he went up on this mountain and he had a 21-day sabbatical in the quest to answer one of his students' questions. And his student's question was, what energy, what healing technique did Jesus use? Now, I'm not saying that I'm Jesus nor comparing myself to Jesus, but I just think this is an interesting part of its history. And during that 21-day sabbatical, Dr. Usui said that he was given the knowledge of how to channel this life force energy. He was met with a great Reiki, and so he went home and he practiced on his loved ones and he practiced on his friends, and then he decided to teach it to others so that we could begin to access it ourselves. So what do I do as a practitioner of Reiki? Essentially, I don't do anything except for channel this healing energy and allow this energy to flow through me and flow to you to receive the healing that is what you requested or for your highest good. So in a typical Reiki session, you would come and we would talk, we would do this grounding exercise to make sure the energy had somewhere to go. And I would hover my hands over you as I feel this subtle energy on this biofield. And then, or I would do like a gentle touch. Now, where do I touch, or what am I touching, what am I hovering over? So essentially, I assess what your biofield looks like, and that brings us back to aura and the chakras, our energetic system. So the aura is this bubble that we all have, and it kind of communicates to the world for us. So if you want to think of Glinda the Good Witch and her little bubble, it's a good way to view it. And we express to others how we feel and who we are through this bubble. Now think about that in terms of, have you ever had somebody that's maybe been too close in your personal space? They're not touching you physically, but they're too close for comfort. That's kind of where they meet the aura. And so we can hang on to things in the aura that essentially cause people to view us in certain ways that aren't really who we are. So we cleanse that so you're walking around with good vibes. But then Reiki essentially works on this energetic system. So we have this spine, this channel throughout our body, and these are called the chakras. There's several. We have about 114 within our body, an energetic body, but today we'll be just talking about the main 7 briefly. So our chakras or chakra in general means a wheel, an energetic wheel. And so these 7 chakras, they have, think of like what a tornado looks like. The little like circular clone there, cyclone. And so they have a small tip that meet here, and then they extend out. And when they extend out, they extend into the aura. So each aura, hey Heather, or each chakra, is associated with an emotional aspect, a mental aspect, and as a nurse, what I really enjoy, a physical aspect. So some type of pathophysiological process. So we have the root chakra here. This is our first one. The root chakra, you can think of it as it connects us to the earth. It's what brings us into the physical, into the present. But it's associated with like our tribe, how we feel connected with family, with friends. Do we feel safe and secure in life? And this is essentially associated with our skeletal system. Think of it as being the roots that hold you down to the earth. So it's associated with our skeletal system. And then it's associated with our adrenal gland as well. So this is the center, the energetic center for fight or flight. So when we're feeling like we're not secure, we're not stable, we're a little discombobulated, we're all over the place, we can't concentrate, we can't focus, it's essentially because we have an energetic blockage within this root chakra. And that is what I view most of us humans have issues with. So then we move up to this next one here, and it's called the sacral chakra. Now the sacral chakra has to deal with our connection to others and how we feel that we can connect. Do we have trust? Are we fearful of connecting to others? But then it's also associated with like the intimacy aspect. So think of when you connect to others, that might not necessarily mean in a sexual way, but including a sexual way, because on a physical level, this sacral chakra governs our reproductive organs, and it's associated with water as well. So this chakra affects the kidneys, the bladder, the ovaries, the testicles, the womb itself, and this is because it's also the creative energy. So then we move up to the solar plexus chakra here. Solar plexus, this is what I struggle with the most. Solar plexus is where we connect to ourself. It's how we view ourselves, our self-confidence, our self-worth, our self-esteem. And also it has to do a lot with our immune system because it's associated with our digestive tract. Now, in the physical aspect, on top of dealing with our immune system, obviously it's placed kind of in the gut. So this is where we see a lot of issues with like irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, diarrhea, Crohn's disease, eating disorders, all that jazz. Now we've got the heart chakra. So before we go any further, just know that all these 3 are what I call in my line of work the lower self. These are all physical attributes. So each one of these has to deal with us and how we feel in the physical world. So it can lead to a lot of anger, a lot of not feeling accepted in certain places, worried about what people are going to think about us. Addictions are big. You know, we try to buy all the things. We're trying to fill that void and find that comfort and find that love for ourselves in the external world. Now we move up to the heart center. And so the heart chakra is what I call in my line of work the seat of the soul. It's love and compassion for ourselves, love and compassion for others, but it also has to deal with our heart, our circulatory system, and our lungs. So anytime we're having issues with that, it can be because of a blockage within the chakra system of the heart center. Then we move up to the throat chakra. Throat chakra has to deal on an emotional level and a mental level as to how we express ourselves. How do we speak our truth? Do we say what we really want to say? Do we feel confident enough to say that? Are we being truthful with ourselves? Sometimes we're in denial about things and internally we're not really speaking to ourselves. So if we have issues with that, essentially we can also have issues with our lymph system. So again, immunity, we have ears, nose, and throat complications as well, and it's also associated with our digestive system, so we can have some eating complications there. Then we have the third eye chakra. Now, third eye is associated with the pineal gland. That's kind of an ancient tool of understanding our own intuition. So being able to go off of gut instinct, being able to feel, yet again, trust ourselves and know. But it also has to deal with how we see the world. Are we really seeing clearly, or do we have these filters about ourselves, these negative thought forms about ourselves? So that aren't necessarily true. And then of course with the third eye, we can have vision issues, headaches, such things as associated with the vision where it's actually at, but more so it is associated with our pituitary glands and our hypothalamus. So essentially if we have an overactive or underactive third eye, then blockages in this section, then we have issues with how our body actually responds hormonally. So if there's a blockage here and it's telling your body that you're in distress, and it sends signal down to root chakra, and we release cortisol and the stress hormones and adrenaline, and yet again we find ourselves in this feeling of stress. And then we move up to the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is associated with our nervous system, but the crown chakra is also associated with how we are connected to our higher self. Maybe that means, the belief that you have in a higher power of you, the cosmos, God, whatever you want to call it, but it's also associated with our intellect. So if we have trouble learning or focusing, we have memory issues, and nervous system issues such as nerve pain, then it can be associated with this chakra. So, crash course on chakras and what they are. Now, for Reiki, this life force energy that we have, life force energy is within all of us, and so we could not actually be alive if we did not carry this life force energy. So what Reiki does is it's channeled through a practitioner to you, and then it begins to clean out all these chakras, all these energetic portions of yourself that we're not really aware of sometimes. Now, that means that can help alleviate the physical issue that's associated with the chakra, the mental issue that's associated with the chakra, or the, did I just say mental, emotional, and the spiritual. So Reiki helps us connect to ourselves, it helps us connect to our highest good, and then it also brings us a way to release this baggage that's calling tension to us. So when we can clear out this baggage, we start feeling good. So I mentioned that Reiki is able to allow us to relax. It brings stress relief. It relieves pain. It provides us with the ability to sleep well. And it does this by just gently sending energy through these systems, clearing it out, and then you wake up, you feel rejuvenated, and you go on. So energy on itself at a cellular level, it causes cellular growth. And so when this energy goes into you, you just feel really charged and like you're ready to conquer the day. Now, let's explain some things, for instance, on how I use Reiki in my day-to-day life. My boyfriend, he gets a lot of headaches, and he's not one to take medicine, so he'll just kind of like suffer through it, which is cool, but you know, he just really wants to like walk around with a headache all day. So he'll ask me, can we do some of that Reiki? And I just hold my hands to his forehead, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, and then he feels relief. So essentially, Reiki can clear things like that. On an emotional level, and it kind of poses the question as to which comes first, the chicken or the egg. So is it the emotional issue or the physical issue? And we don't really know. For me personally, I believe a lot of our emotional issues, a lot of the emotional baggage we carry in us causes these physical elements. That could be wrong, but so I use Reiki a lot to heal these emotional wounds. And when we heal these emotional wounds, then we stop seeing the physical aspect of the element, if that makes sense. For instance, along my early journey, I had a lot of issues with my solar plexus, myself, how I view myself, my willpower to get up and do things, my self-confidence. And so I'm presented with a lot of gastrointestinal issues. It'd be safe to say that I've had eating disorders in the past because chronic diet, chronic obsessing over about how I physically look, and then I had chronic irritable bowel syndrome that also presented in vomiting. We're getting intense here, guys. And I went and had my first Reiki session done, and I knew at the time that I needed help in my solar plexus. And I don't think the intention was initially to clear out these physical symptoms. I just wanted to feel better about myself. So I went and had this work done on my abdomen, and I had the biggest release, like go to the bathroom and be sick. But after that, it was kind of done. And then I noticed that I was able to just feel better about myself. Like I didn't really have to do anything other than that. I just felt better. Now this brings me awareness as to when I start having stomach issues, I can question myself and say, what are you feeling like you're not good enough about? Why are you questioning your willpower? Why are you questioning your gut instinct? And I'm able to kind of take care of myself better. So, what does a typical Reiki session look like? So essentially you come in and you lay out in front of me. Now, let this be known, this is a really neat concept of healing. As a Reiki practitioner, I'm a level 3 Reiki practitioner, a master teacher, which means that I can also attune others. But with this understanding, or with this level of practitioner, I know that I have the clear understanding that I'm not doing anything for you. This is you connecting with a loving, compassionate energy, and it's going to provide you with the healing that you need. And essentially, by you being open to the concept, you are doing the healing work yourself. So this means you are the healer, not I. But I get the beautiful experience of connecting with you when we do this work. And as I channel this work, it comes through me as well, so I also get that healing aspect. Now you lay out in front of me. I do what's called a aura scoop, so I just kind of move my hands over you. I feel certain areas, I feel the subtle energy, I can feel the chakras, I can feel the blockages within the chakras and kind of understand where you might be needing this clearing. And then I just simply place my hands over the area, so I kind of like hover them over. If I feel that it needs more attention, then I lay my hand on that area, and essentially I just follow the lines of the chakras. So we start at the crown chakra and we move our way down to the root chakra. Now, what will you experience in a Reiki session? Everybody's experience is absolutely different. It's really subtle and relaxing in general. So yet again, this can be great for stress management, because essentially it's like you're just going to go meditate. You're just going to go chill for a while, and you're not having to do anything. You're not playing on your phone. You get an hour to yourself. But you may feel cold rushes, you may feel warm rushes, you may feel tingling sensations, like small tingling sensations. It's not anything really big or extravagant. It's very, very subtle, and this is just how we feel and perceive the energy. Some of us are not as susceptible to the energy, so we don't feel it. We're just kind of like laying there in this meditation state. That's okay too. That doesn't mean it's not working. Are there any side effects to Reiki? I guess we could talk about that. Essentially, no. You're not going to have like increased pain from Reiki. You're not going to, hey Josh, hey Mom, hey Ashley. You're not going to have like other irritable symptoms from Reiki, as if like when you take a pill, this might cause headache, shortness of breath, stomach complications, or so on. But if we had to say that there were side effects from Reiki, I would say that one would be what I call an energetic boost or energetic drunkenness. So we do this thing before we begin our session where you drop a grounding cord, and this just essentially gives a place for all this love and compassion, this healing energy to go. And if you can't get that grounding cord done real well, then you can kind of come out of this feeling a little like, where am I? A little spacey, a little drunk feeling. It doesn't last. It might last like maybe 30 minutes or so until you complete. The other aspect of Reiki that could be considered a side effect is only if you aren't aware of it. So with Reiki, we may be working on physical elements, but that physical element may come from an emotional wound. And what Reiki does is it doesn't necessarily get rid of the emotional wound for us unless it's something that's really minute. But if it's a lesson that we need to learn from, it brings that emotional wound to the surface. And then we can kind of see it and look at it. We need to learn our lesson from it and then get rid of it. For instance, I had a client that used the intention to release anger. And, afterwards, as I get this healing as well, then I had this really kind of like angry feelings the next 2 days. I knew that I wasn't like really angry about something right now, but it surfaced anger. And then it really brought my attention to where that anger was stemming from, and I was able to look at it and say, okay, like it's time to let this go. So I believe that's only a side effect when you are not aware of that aspect of Reiki, that it can surface that. If you just think, hey, I'm going to go in for my hip pain and come out with no hip pain, and then all of a sudden realize that maybe the hip pain was associated with not feeling connected to your family and this deep emotional issue that you have with your family, you might feel a little surprised when you see that come up. We can also prevent this during a Reiki session by asking that your healing be absolutely subtle, with nothing but love and compassionate. That way it's able to be really gentle with you and not cause so much trauma as to when you start having this experience. Really, it's just really one of those things you kind of have to experience for yourself. Everybody has different takes on it, but if anything, it's an awesome way to just like provide yourself with some relief and some stress management and just chilling out for about an hour. And if I still have you all on here, so in order to maybe provide you with some understanding of subtle energy, I'm going to see if this little pendulum trick works here. So when I was in nursing school, I was in the baccalaureate program, attempting to obtain my bachelor's degree in nursing. And this is the first time that I heard of energy work, of Reiki, or even the chakras. And we did a whole day of just looking at subtle energy within the body. And we used a pendulum. And the pendulum you hang over the certain energy points, so these chakra areas that I'm telling you about, and it either moves or it doesn't. And if it doesn't move, then essentially that's a place that we have a blockage where that energy is not flowing. And then if it is moving, sorry, I was reading questions. If it is moving, then that essentially means we've got some flow, so at least we know we have some flow in that energy system. So I'm going to show you this. I wasn't going to. It feels a little, I don't know, a little strange, but I loved it in nursing school. So let's see if it works. So I'm going to use my arrowhead as a pendulum here. And we're just going to place it above my third eye chakra and see what it looks like. And I'm going to lean on the wall and stable my hand so that you all know I'm not, let's touch it so it stops. So you know I'm not moving it. And give it a second to kind of mellow out from my hand. I moved again. Okay. I'm really steady now. So let's give it a moment and see if it starts circling out. I can't really see, guys, so is it moving or no? Let's do my throat. Maybe I can see it this way. Maybe some slight movement there. It's moving. Okay. Thanks. I can't see with like my hand in my face. And then I'll show you this way. So I'm going to close my eyes and breathe for a minute and like think about channeling in Reiki energy, that love and compassion. Just it's the greatest vibration of love. It's the greatest vibration of compassion that you could receive. It's from that complete life force energy. And so, you know, all this healing work, people tend to be scared of it because I know that it's kind of strange. Don't get me wrong. But it's all out of love. So there's nothing to be scared of. So let me just think about Reiki. Y'all see it moving? It's kind of subtle. I talked about it and it stopped. Let's get it going again. Love and compassion, all that Reiki energy, all that good love. All that good, good love. Now let's talk about anger and sadness and depression. Ooh. Just kind of stopped. Okay, so that's that's what I did in my baccalaureate program classes, was hover over everybody's chakras. And it was a really neat experience because we actually had a girl that was pregnant in our class, and she was at the end of her third trimester, and we put we put that chakra over her belly, and or that pendulum, and it just like swirled around so big, and 2 days later she was in labor. So that was kind of a neat concept to look at that. Anybody else interested in another way to maybe feel Reiki? Reiki is in all of us. The only difference between a Reiki practitioner and you is that I've essentially signed up. I've said, I will be a vessel for this healing energy. So kind of that chakra system that goes through us, I've just had it expanded through attunements to hopefully you all are all able to watch this someplace where you have a moment to sit down. What we're going to do is close our eyes, and I'll guide you through some deep breathing. We close our eyes because when we're first becoming aware of feeling this subtle energy, when we're actually looking at it, we're making our own assumption about it. We can't really feel it. So we're just going to close our eyes in order to actually give us that higher sense of actually feeling it. And all we're going to do, let me explain this before we get started. We'll close our eyes, we'll do some deep breaths, and then we're going to do this thing with our fingers, and we're going to say sa ta na ma. I'll walk you through it. Sa ta na ma. This is going to open the chakras and the nadis, the energy channels in our fingers, because if you haven't done this before, or if you're not normally sensitive to energy, otherwise you will not feel it. And then what we'll do is I just want you'll begin taking your hands like this, and you kind of get them close together but not touching. And you begin just kind of pulsating. You can pretend you're patting out some hamburgers, making a little energy ball here, or begin to pulsate it like this. And we'll do it for about a minute, and we'll see if you notice anything. Again, this is called subtle energy, so don't expect to feel like lots of movement here, tons of heat. For me, it's very subtle. So we'll do that, and then you all can tell me what sensations you felt. I'd rather not give you the sensations so that I'm not trying to, encourage your thought base there. Okay. So just close your eyes and relax your shoulders. And take a good breath in your nose and out of your nose. In your nose and out of your nose. Now we're going to try to open those energy centers in your hand. So touching your thumb, alternating each finger through your pinky. We're going to do sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Okay. Now, put your fingers or your hands as close together as you can get them without touching. And just keep breathing. Notice if you feel anything. Now kind of expand your hands and push them back. Expand and push back. And you can kind of pulsate them together. Still not touching, just small little pulsates. Maybe make your ball. Okay. Now guys, that may have been too quick for you. This is something that you can practice on your own too. So let me know, did you feel anything? Feel any subtle energy there? Any sensations within your hand? Stacy, palms feel really hot. Yes, Stacy, yeah. When you were doing the demo, I felt a pin prick in the middle of my finger. Doing the actual exercise, it came through my thumb. Okay, yeah. Mom, I'll let you work on my blue chakra tonight. Yes, absolutely. Ashley, kind of felt, you don't know how to explain it. Yes, I call that magnetic pushback, like pressure, just like really gentle pressure. Heather, the tops of my palm got warm. Yeah. So guys, you're all feeling your subtle energy, the Reiki that's in you. So awesome. Every single one of you all felt it in some form or fashion. So I normally feel it by intense warmth. Especially when there is a chakra or a place that's really needing a lot of healing, intense warmth. That's warm sensation is normally how you know like that energy's coming through. And then if anybody out there got really cold, hopefully not, since you're playing with yourself and kind of, you know, intensifying that energy by rolling it around. But I also feel really cold sensations in areas that are completely blocked off. Pin pricks, absolutely, like a little tingling sensation or a little pin prick. Now, Steph, where you were only feeling it in the thumb and maybe the middle finger, that possibly could be because the other fingers just haven't opened up yet. So doing that satanama can work on opening the centers up and just like stretching out your fingers, working out your fingers too. And let's see, who else? What else did you all feel? The pressure, that pushback pressure, it's really subtle. So subtle. So I'm super stoked that you felt that, Ashley, because it's not one that people typically pick up on a whole lot. But noticing that pressure too, it's just like the polarities. If you have the energy coming out of both hands there and they're meeting each other. So awesome, guys. I'm excited for everybody. Hey, nothing but love and light. Nothing but love and light.